Hello everybody and welcome back again to Let's Play Disco Elysium, where we are at our Communist meeting, which turns out to be exactly two people running a glorified book club. Which means if we want to join, we obviously have to do our reading. But first, let me have a look at all my other updates here. So, I got a new thought, for example. I think it was the boring cop one, so... let's see if I can find it again, because it's not highlighted anymore. Yeah, which one was it? Regular law officer. That's gotta be it, right? Regular law official, not officer. Temporary research bonus -1 Inland Empire. Nothing funky. That would probably put my Inland Empire at 0, or maybe even in the negative. It might be 0. Okay, so it looks like you've got a bit of the normal in you, a touch of the regular, 4 grams of Johnny Normal Cop. Who would have thunk it? You, the extremist of all the cops, you said some pretty boring things back there, and now you have two choices. You can either leave it behind and forget about it, or you can try to utilize your normalcy. Internalize it. Get a touch of vanilla back into the herring-flavored egg and licorice ice cream of your mind. Well, compared to herring-flavored egg and licorice ice cream, I think I would prefer vanilla, actually. But I'm still internalizing this one, and I'm not sure if I'm going to internalize that many more thoughts, to be honest, so probably not this one. But yeah, I got 4 points of boring cop. But again, I got the apocalypse cop thought at 3 points, so that is kind of strange. Anyway, we got an update here. Read a brief look at Infra-Materialism. Right. They gave me like a book. There it is. However, before I start reading this, let me have a look around here, because we have a bunch of orbs to investigate. Try not to think about the cracks spidering out across the floor. Well, I hope the building is not going to collapse at this very moment. A rickety easel surrounded by pots of gouache. What? Cindy's, no doubt. Okay, yeah, I can see that. So I guess she does attend these meetings every now and then. This one says no war but class war. This poster reads under the cobblestones Communism. Alright, at least they're creating some posters here. Coffee. Is that the slightly burnt coffee I've been smelling earlier? What do we got here? Reflective construction vest. I mean, I already stole his jacket. May as well steal this one as well. Not sure if I really need it. Endurance gives me like more health, right? But I mean, I'm not doing bad in that regard anymore. Let me have a look at it. +1 endurance. Safety first. -1 reaction speed, impossible to miss. A ludicrously reflective safety vest like those favored by construction and road repair crews. Comes with a replaceable battery pack. Makes you feel like a deep-sea anemone. Okay. Anyway, now let's have a look at the book. I mean, it is getting kind of late, but I hope that I can read the book and then talk to them again and become a member in this book club. Because I would prefer not to wait until the next evening, since I don't really have that much stuff to do anymore, so I hope I can finish this today. So, let's have a look. A concise introduction into infra-materialist theory intended for a general audience. You can tell this particular copy has spent a lot of time in someone's back pocket. Alright, let's do it.
The cover of this pocket-sized volume features a swirl of orange, yellow, and green. The title, A Brief Look at Infra-Materialism, is set in an authoritative yet approachable serif font. What an interesting color palette. It's vibrant, yet somehow leaves you ever so slightly nauseated.
Great.
On the inside jacket flap, you find a brief summary. What is Infra-Materialism? A highly theoretical branch of Masovian communism? A collection of mystical ramblings by a discredited revolutionary? Or possibly both?
Well, enlighten me.
This brief look, TM, introduces readers to one of this century's most fascinating and misunderstood theories in a concise, jargon-free manner.
Okay, so who trademarked this brief look? So far, so good. This feels like kid stuff. Is there no slightly longer glance TM series? I mean, I like this dialogue option. However, I think I'm fine with the brief look for a start.
You turn to the table of contents. The guide itself is divided into several sections with seemingly esoteric titles like Effects of Plasm on Root Vegetables and Mental Projection and Transference. There's also a brief introduction about the life of Ignis Nielsen.
Alright, yeah, I really need to know what plasm is supposed to be in this context. Because, I mean, it can't be what it is in like a normal physical context, right? Who knows? But okay, I guess I'm going to read the introduction.
Known to his numerous admirers as the evangelist of the revolution, and to his even more numerous enemies as the apocalyptic Shrike, Ignis Nielsen remains one of the most controversial and fascinating figures to emerge in the years of the anti-centennial revolution, second only to Karamazov himself.
Well, I wonder who wrote this introduction. Did he write it about himself by any chance?
During his unparalleled life, he helped guide a revolution in one country and found a new state in another. Along the way, he committed some of the most notorious war crimes in an era famed for its atrocities.
Well, maybe he didn't write it himself.
And yet, his most fascinating contribution to history may be the most overlooked. His theory of ideological plasm, from which his followers and successors developed the school of communism known as Infra-Materialism.
Alright, let's go. Let's read the first chapter.
If you're like most people, you probably believe that your thoughts reside in your brain, right?
I guess so.
Completely backwards. You think with your hands. Always have.
With my hands. I mean, I could see an argument for saying that thoughts are immaterial, so they're not really part of the body, but in your hands, I'm not quite following you here. Oh, right, I'm more of a tactile guy. I let my fingers guide me. Honestly, I have no idea where some of these thoughts come from. That is actually very true. I mean, just look at all these different, I don't know, parts of Harry that keep talking to him. I have no idea where they come from, so that's a good point.
This sounds more like a question for a psychiatrist. See also a brief look at psychiatry. But let's stick with Ignis Nielsen a moment.
Right.
As Mazov's devoted comrade and leading theoretician, Nielsen was responsible for developing much of the intellectual foundation of communism. But his interests and speculations were famously wide-ranging. During his final years in exile, he produced, among other things, an early guide to home brewing, instructions for raising revolutionary children, plans for a universal pictographic language, and a detailed materialist critique of Dolores Day's chess strategy.
That is all over the place. I especially like the home brewing and the critique of chess strategy.
A true man of ideas, equal to any of the great DeLorean polymaths.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. If he's dabbling in so many different fields, is he really good at any of them?
But one subject he returned to time and time again was the fundamental relationship between thoughts and matter.
All right, I'm all ears.
We may yet discover, he wrote in his notebooks, that under certain exceptional circumstances, the proletariat's embrace of historical materialism may be so fervent that their beliefs take form in the world of matter, as a kind of revolutionary plasm.
So plasm is basically a thought that became a physical mass. Okay. Hold on, can you put that in slightly more basic terms? Whoa, okay. Can you explain this a little bit more basic to me?
Certainly. In essence, Nielsen is arguing that thoughts don't just reside inside the brain, they radiate outward from it. According to this idea, the brain is an ideological transponder, constantly emitting waves of highly politicized energy, which Nielsen called plasm.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't think I agree with you, but at least I can kind of understand what you're trying to say. So, okay, let's continue.
Stay with us a moment longer. What's more, Nielsen speculated that this plasm, when it becomes powerful enough, might begin to influence the material reality surrounding it. Hence the name, Infra-Materialism.
So basically, if you think hard enough, you can influence the world around you. I see. Kind of like those people who are trying to manifest something by just thinking about it hard enough. Again, I don't really agree, but I still find this an interesting idea to explore.
Unfortunately, Nielsen passed away before he was able to develop these initial ideas into a full-fledged theory. That work was left to subsequent generations of communist theorists. Building on Nielsen's basic insight, these theorists reached a startling conclusion that a sufficiently revolutionary state might begin to exhibit certain extra-physical effects based on the amount of plasm generated by its citizens.
Alright, I'm still following you. Wait, so this isn't even Nielsen's theory, it's his followers. This doesn't make any sense. I'm completely lost. So these people are saying that if enough people just believe in communism, it will come true. Yeah, I think that's basically what they're saying. Again, I don't agree, but I find it a fascinating idea. So basically it's his followers' theory.
Correct. Though certain particulars of the theory are commonly attributed to Nielsen himself, the evidentiary basis of those attributions has always been a point of contention between infra-materialists and their critics.
Alright, so basically you just have to believe it and then it will come true. You don't even have to do anything for it, just believing hard enough will suffice, right?
The actual theory is highly technical, but for the purposes of this brief look, TM, that's a fine working definition of the concept.
Alright, we will go with that working definition.
That's because this is absolute idiocy, not even worth engaging with.
I can see why logic would not like this theory. Alright, let's hear about this extra physical stuff. I'll just give it a few more pages. Yes, I will humor them for a while and I will let them explain why they believe in this theory.
Infra-materialists divide the extra-physical effects of the revolutionary state by the level of plasm required to achieve them. At the lowest, or first level, revolutionary plasm is believed to stimulate or invigorate matter without altering its essential properties.
This sounds like the business with the turnips. How exactly does plasm stimulate matter? Yeah, right. So basically what you're saying is if your thoughts are communist enough, it may influence the growth of turnips, right?
Precisely. Though plasm does more than increase vegetable yields, it may also influence the physiology of revolutionaries themselves.
How so?
It's also been postulated that plasm may account for the remarkably full and manly facial hair observed on some communist males.
Well, I actually got rid of my manly facial hair, so maybe I should have kept it. Stroke your bare chin. Don't, it's embarrassing. I will stroke my bare chin as much as I want.
Your hand feels clammy against your bare chin. You wipe it along the back of the book and keep reading. Of course, Infra-Materialists argue that revolutionary plasm may stimulate human physiology in other ways as well.
Alright, tell me more about it.
In fact, reports from the revolutionary period claim that the most radically devoted communards were able to engage in vigorous intercourse for up to 8 hours at a time.
Okay, I'm not sure if I can suspend my disbelief enough for this kind of stuff.
8 hours? There's no way. Your equipment would be mashed to jelly.
Probably.
No wonder the communards couldn't shoot straight. They were too shagged out.
I mean, that's an interesting explanation.
Hyper-productive vegetables and ultra-horny communards are fine. But this theory hasn't quite gotten strange enough for you.
Okay, it's going to get stranger.
And on that note, you feel like you've gotten the general idea of infra-materialism, enough to carry on a basic conversation at least. But if you'd like to go even deeper into some of the more speculative aspects of the theory, you could always read further.
Well, I guess I will read further.
Of course you want to go deeper. What else are you here for?
Exactly. And I mean, it's getting late, but there still might be some time left.
The book fits quite snugly into your palm. It would also fit comfortably into a jacket pocket.
Alright, let's keep reading.
You flip forward a few pages until you come upon a chapter titled Mental Projection and Transference. When a community has achieved a sufficiently high degree of revolutionary fervor, infra-materialists believe that second-level effects may be observed.
Alright, and how does this second level manifest itself?
At this second level, certain hyper-revolutionary individuals may even develop the ability to extend their thoughts into material space and vice versa.
Wait, does that mean communists can read minds? So why do these effects only work for hyper-revolutionary communists? Yeah, does this mean they can read minds?
According to infra-materialist theory, yes. Under suitably revolutionary conditions, that is.
Okay. Well, this is definitely getting weirder and weirder all the time.
Of course, one doesn't need to be a communist to be attuned to the thoughts of your brothers and sisters. It's become something of a folk legend that during their final meeting, Nielsen and Mazov didn't speak a single word, preferring to sit in silence with their chamomile tea, reading one another's thoughts.
That's strangely beautiful. That's probably not what happened. I mean, it's possible that it happened, but maybe not for the reasons that they think it did. Not because they could read minds. Maybe they just didn't have anything to say. Yeah, maybe not what happened.
One of the minor tragedies of the late revolutionary period is that few reliable accounts survive. Much of what we know of the communards' activities during this period come from memoirs and second-hand accounts, some only written down decades after the fact, and of dubious authenticity.
Right. Hey Kim, you'd say that we share a pretty special connection, right? I don't know, would you say that?
I suppose we do work quite well together.
You and me, we're on the same wavelength. It's why we're always finishing each other's... Oh, you want to see if the mind reading or using your thoughts to influence people works on Kim?
Your words hang in the air as the lieutenant scribbles something in his notebook.
Well...
At some point, he realizes you're waiting for him and looks up with a tightly knit brow.
You left me hanging here, Kim. Sentences, cigarettes. We're finishing each other's cigarettes. No, I guess I wanted to say sentences.
The lieutenant looks at you evenly for a moment, then returns to his notebook without a word.
Kim, you left me hanging there. Yes, right. I think he didn't even realize what I was trying to do here, so I don't know. Let's forget about it.
As we were saying, it's generally believed that these effects are only exhibited by certain hyper-revolutionary individuals. Generally, less than 0.01% of the revolutionary population.
So probably not Harry. So why do these effects only work for hyper-revolutionary communists?
Because plasm has never been directly observed, the exact mechanism behind these effects remains entirely speculative.
Yeah, everything about this theory seems very speculative.
In other words, there's no evidence that any of this mind-reading stuff is real.
Right. Wait, if there's no evidence plasm exists, how can the theory be true? It probably isn't.
Most infra-materialists would argue that the inability of skeptics to detect plasm is simply evidence of their own insufficient revolutionary enthusiasm.
Well, that is convenient. So basically, you have to believe in the theory to be able to prove that the theory is real. That is very convenient indeed.
There you have it, a perfectly unfalsifiable loop. The theory is impossible to disprove on its own grounds.
Exactly.
Meaning, it's hardly a theory at all.
Yeah, it seems more like some sort of supernatural belief.
This should be more than enough for a stimulating discussion. That said, if you're still yearning for more,
I mean, may as well finish it now, right?
you breeze through the next several sections until you arrive at the final chapter, titled A Communism Above Reality. When a society's revolutionary fervor reaches the third and highest level, infra-materialist theoreticians have postulated that the laws of physics cease to be laws.
What?
Say it. You know you want to.
That's because I'm the law, Joe. Cease to be laws. What do they become then? Okay, authority, you win. I'm going to say it.
Under suitably revolutionary conditions, you might be. Though infra-materialists would argue that it's more like the community is, collectively, the law.
I see.
At last, a book gives you the respect and validation you're entitled to.
Thank you.
Of course, it's impossible to say what exactly happens under these conditions. No known society has ever achieved the levels of revolutionary enthusiasm the theory seems to require.
And it probably never will happen.
Some infra-materialists have even argued that it might require more plasm than humanity alone may be capable of producing.
Which again means that there's no way to prove or falsify this theory. Wait, are there non-human sources of plasm? Has anyone ever gotten close to reaching the third level? What would a third level society even look like? Yeah, what other sources could there be?
In the SRV, there have been attempts to organize certain species of aquatic mammals, as well as a few of the higher corvids.
Okay, so crows and ravens. I mean, supposedly they're pretty intelligent, and aquatic mammals, probably dolphins.
But as of this writing, only human beings have demonstrated the intellectual capacity for revolutionary communism.
Really, how unexpected. So, has anyone ever gotten close to reaching the third level?
There are numerous stories from Samara involving bandits or fascist mercenaries being levitated by farmers from the most ideologically advanced communes. Of course, few of these incidents have ever been rigorously investigated or substantiated.
Of course.
The form of these stories also recalls several well-known Samoran folk tales, in particular the one commonly known as Clever Oleg and the Flying Magistrate.
So basically, they're probably just folk tales repurposed for communist propaganda. Okay.
Among known attempts to channel third-level capabilities, the most well-documented is the curious case of Coalition warship debutante.
All right, I gotta know what that is about.
It concerns an interesting series of events that took place during the invasion of Revachol. As coalition forces made landfall, a cadre of Nielsen's most fervent acolytes attempted to compress a coalition aerostatic. with their collective will.
And did it work? Don't tell me it didn't, right?
According to Communard law, these acolytes positioned themselves at the top of a redoubt just over the Bay of Revachol. From that vantage, they proceeded to visualize pinching coalition warship debutante between their fingers, a gesture believed to assist in the extra-physical materialization of their thoughts.
Why didn't they just get some high-powered merc gear, tap your armor? Should have used their finger pistols instead. Aim your finger pistols toward the bay. Did it work? Yep, they should have used their finger pistols, obviously.
There's no evidence the communards were equipped with finger pistols, though it's unlikely they would have decisively altered the outcome.
So I guess it didn't work.
The acolytes, along with the redoubt, were vaporized in an artillery strike before the process could be completed.
Yeah, I kinda expected that.
It's been said, though, that in the weeks following the battle, the captain of the debutante noted an increase in incidents of crewmen striking their heads on unexpectedly low bulkheads.
Well, I guess that's some kind of victory for the revolution.
Of course, colorful anecdotes only scratch the surface of what infra-materialists believe may be possible in a truly third-level society.
Okay, hang on a second. So, the stuff that you can do on a third level of this theory is make people bump their heads. That isn't really all that impressive, to be honest. But yeah, what would a third-level society look like?
Some have theorized that such a society would be fundamentally unrecognizable, lacking many of the institutions we typically take for granted in advanced societies, including organized governments, financial institutions, and law enforcement.
Because we would just be doing everything with our minds, right?
Did that book just say there's no place for you in this future?
Well, I guess I won't be the law anymore in that kind of future.
Others have argued that people living under third-level conditions will be immune to such infirmities as hunger, disease, and mental illness.
Yeah, that is all a little bit too utopian, maybe, huh?
In some of his later writings, Nielsen himself speculated about the potential for an extra-physical architecture that disregards the laws of bourgeois physics and instead relies on the revolutionary faith of the people for structural integrity.
I mean, I hate to break it to you, but physics is not bourgeois or anything else. The laws of physics are just the laws of physics, and structural integrity is not achieved by faith alone. So, yeah, this whole theory totally went off the rails after the first few sentences. Meaning the buildings stay up because people believe they'll stay up. Amazing. That seems like a bad theory to design buildings based on. But yeah, this is basically what it means, right? You have to believe that the building will hold.
Precisely. Nielsen observed that the financial system operates on the same principle of faith. So why not an architectural system?
Because that's not the same. Kind of funny, though.
On the following page, you come across a few black and white reproductions from Nielsen's own notebooks. One sketch depicts a government ministry shaped like a great inverted pyramid. A hectare in width at the top, balanced atop foundations the size of common apartments. Another depicts a leaning tower wrapped in a dramatic helix. The caption beneath it reads, "The Tower of History." Something about that tower looks awfully familiar. Could it be that's what the students were trying to recreate with the matchboxes?
I see. You were trying to build one of these faith-based buildings, but it collapsed because apparently you didn't manifest your communist thoughts enough. Wait, but what if the people stop believing and the building collapse? This might be too much even for me. Plausible or not, there's something beautiful about this idea. Is there any more? Yeah, what if people stop believing and the building collapses?
In the corner of one of the reproduced notebook pages, you can make out the following words, written in Nielsen's distinctive slashing script. A state that has lost the faith of its people has forfeited the right to exist.
So basically, they deserve it. If they stop believing in the structural integrity of a building, they believe to die. Huh. Yeah, this might be too much even for me.
That's all right, because you've reached the end of the book.
Okay, I mean, this is very fascinating, but it's also a bunch of crap.
If you'd like to try something different, may we recommend a brief look at Gradian literature?
Maybe another time. Let's put the book away for now. Okay, well, there was something. Return to the group for discussion. Okay, so now that we have read this amazing book, we can discuss it with our two communists here. Again, it's very late, but I kind of want to finish this today and not return tomorrow at 10, so let's talk to them right away.
You're back.
Point to the art supplies. I'm guessing these pots of gouache belong to Cindy. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's hers. She just sort of moved it all in a few months ago.
She said if she's going to make truly radical art, she needs a suitably radical workspace.
Fair enough.
And I don't think she could afford rent at an actual studio.
Do you like her art? Now I'm wondering what's the deal with this place. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, do you like her art?
Oh, sure. It's definitely interesting, I would say.
Interesting. Isn't that just binoclard for I don't have a real opinion?
I mean, I use that word myself quite a lot. Sometimes it's just, interesting. Wait, I thought interesting was what people say when they don't have anything real to add. Nah, let it go.
I guess you could call her latest stuff a sort of counter-bourgeoisie calligraphy. She's got a real taste for radical slogans.
I mean, not everyone needs to have an interest in art or an opinion about art. It's completely fine to just say, well, it looks interesting, but I can't really tell you anything more about it.
It's too bad she hasn't developed the theoretical foundation to do truly radical work.
Yeah, too bad.
I think she'll get there, though. She's still looking for a subject equal to her ambitions.
Now I'm wondering, what's the deal with this place?
The deal? At a fundamental level, I guess you could call it the shattered bones of a dream crushed by capital.
A feeble and hopelessly mixed metaphor.
That's really good, Steban. You should save that for an essay.
Well, apparently Ulixes is more impressed with that metaphor than logic. And that was a pretty tough skill check. 12 versus 12.
Thanks, Uli. When the idea is sound, the words just sort of flow.
I guess I'm not going to let you know what my logic thinks of your metaphor.
Yes, now keep developing the idea.
Actually, I think that's a mixed metaphor. If this place is the shattered bones, that must make us the bone weevils. I heard these used to be luxury apartments, million real views, that sort of thing. I'm not sure what a weevil is, but I guess I'm going to pick this option.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's just making the metaphor more convoluted, to be honest.
Not as good as Steban's original idea, though.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on.
Go ahead.
So, I have read the book about Infra-Materialism.
Yes, let's get right to it.
His companion leans forward, ready to jump in. They're impressed that you dove right into the most advanced parts of the theory. Half an hour evaporates and the conversation is still wending its way toward new and unexpected places.
Now, interestingly enough, the time doesn't seem to move anymore. Maybe it only goes until 2 a.m. and then it just stops moving.
A cool breeze coming off the bay wraps itself around the Capeside apartments in a nearly forgotten part of that glorified construction site, surrounded by rusted pieces of scaffolding and walls of faded tarpaulin. A detective of the RCM debates the intricacies of an abstruse theory with a pair of university students.
Yes, fascinating, isn't it? But I'm still trying to figure out how the Pale fits into all this. I don't know. I don't think the Pale was mentioned, at least not in the parts of the book that we've read. So wait, you're saying that President Knezinski has never opened a book? Yeah, I don't know. Has the Pale anything to do with this?
The two phenomena are actually deeply intertwined. Many infra-materialists believe that Pale is actually a manifestation of nostalgia and historical inertia.
Okay.
Those same theorists have hypothesized that revolution may in fact create a counterforce that prevents the Pale from expanding.
Well, I mean, that would be great.
Now the breeze has subsided. All is still except for the last bits of steam rising from the coffee pot.
Well, on that note, I think we can call it an evening.
Yeah, we probably should, because it's getting very late, and apparently it's not getting any later than that.
No, wait. Can this really be the end? You feel like you've just gotten to the real stuff.
Well, I don't know. What else can we do?
Yes. One of our better discussions lately, on the whole.
So you're saying this is it?
What do you mean, is that it? You've done the reading, we talked about it. What more do you expect from a reading group?
What if I have more questions, about communism? Nothing, I just thought there would be more. Yeah, what if I have more questions?
Well, you could always ask, I guess.
The two young men look at each other a moment.
We probably won't get a better chance. Honestly.
Right.
But it's getting late, so maybe pick the most important question.
I have a skill check here. Kim, what should I ask? I need a minute to think about it. Ask the most important question about communism. I changed my mind, I don't have any questions. Should I try one of these options first, or just go for the most important one right away? +2 showed him the rifle, +2 did all the reading, -1 haunted by lost love. And it's a red check, so I can't retry it. Alright, let's try it anyway.
Alright, here we go.
Well,
We're devoting all your available brain cells to coming up with a question about communism. Scratch that. To coming up with the question about communism. The alpha and omega of communism questions. And that question is...
yeah, that's not going to happen because I failed that skill check. How women bourgeois. Oh god, that's bad. Surely I can think of something better. Let's hope so.
Maybe in another life, but not this one. Face it, this is the question that's been simmering inside you all along.
Hang on, I thought I was really getting into the theory back there. Maybe I should keep this one to myself. Yeah, surely I can come up with something better.
Sure, you spent some time getting lost in your theoretical labyrinths, but this has been the beast at the center this whole time.
Alright, well, in that case, let's ask it. Are women bourgeois?
The young man gives you a slightly confused look, as though he's sure he asked something else and he simply misheard.
Yeah, I think he's not impressed.
No, he heard you crystal clear. Somehow, it sounded even worse out loud.
I mean, honestly, I feel it doesn't sound any more ridiculous than most of that Infra-Materialism book.
He wants to know if women are bourgeois, Esteban.
Yes, I heard him. Give me a moment.
He takes a deep breath, then turns to you.
What makes you ask that question above any other?
Because they can't handle me. I'm a goddamn superstar. Because I can't handle them. I'm a sorry excuse for a man. Because they won't let me forget the life we used to have together. I don't know. It's just what my brain told me to say. Yes, literally so.
That's because your brain is floating in ideology, gendarme. He's practically drowning in it. You ask that question because you're still under the influence of ideology. That's natural. You're like a fish that's only now discovering that her whole life has been dictated by the movements of sea currents. That's what ideology is. It's like there are these invisible forces everywhere, pushing and tugging you this way and that, and you don't even know they're there.
What does this have to do with communism? What does this have to do with women? Is it even possible to imagine a world without ideology? I mean, it's actually an interesting question.
Of course it's possible. Just extremely difficult. You practically have to be a world historical individual to do it. Do you know the story of Dobrova and Abadanais?
I thought that was just some gibberish you made up for the passphrase. I don't know what you're talking about. Who were they? Well, apparently not just a passphrase, huh?
No. They were the revolutionary lovers. The dual commissars of revolution in Insulinda. Yulia Dobrova came from Grad. Jean Abadanais was born in Revachol. She was brilliant, charismatic, a revolutionary comet. He was her partner and stabilizer, the planet who kept her in orbit.
All right.
What became of them, though? There seems to be a blank paragraph in the history books.
It's from them we get the notion of dual leadership, the Decomtage, Revachol's truly great contribution to revolutionary thought. I believe it even persists in some form in the RCM, even to this day.
What happened to them, Dobreva and Abadanis? Is that true, Kim, about the Decomtage? So you're saying women are only bourgeois because of ideology. What does this question say about me? Yeah, what happened to them?
They died on their own terms, like real revolutionaries. There's a lot to say for that.
Okay. And yeah, is that true, Kim, about the Decomtage?
I had no idea its origins went all the way back to the revolution itself. But it makes sense, in a way.
All right. So you're saying women are only bourgeois because of ideology. He doesn't really say that women are bourgeois to begin with. So what does this question say about me?
Yes, that's the question you should be asking yourself.
Yes, Harry, you probably should.
His companion nods, but offers no further solace.
I need to take some time to think about all of this. I probably should do that.
The young man nods, but says nothing. He appears to be distracted by something. He's wrestling with some question of his own.
Okay.
Of course, the matchboxes. You'd very nearly forgotten to ask about them. Now may be your last chance.
The matchboxes. You were trying to make the tower from Nielsen's journals. Yes, exactly.
So you really did read all the way to the end. Yeah. Uli and I were trying to see whether there was enough plasm between the two of us to hold up a few matchboxes.
Well, apparently there wasn't.
It was just a little informal experiment. No reason to take it too seriously.
Well, maybe we should try again.
The young man looks at you a moment, then at his companion.
What could it hurt? All right, let's give it another go.
All right, let's give it another go.
You know what? I'll sit this one out. I don't think you want my skeptical materialism interfering.
Yeah, fair point.
Before long, a modest tower begins to rise from the pile of matchboxes. You place every box with the utmost delicacy and precision.
Easy, Uli.
It's holding. It's holding.
Well, so far.
For the moment. The higher the tower goes, the quieter the room seems to become.
Ooh.
Aside from the occasional comment, the three of you are completely absorbed by the task.
I mean, this is already significantly higher than the last time.
Alright, you go next, Stepan.
The young man pushes back his shirt sleeves, revealing the pale flesh of his forearms.
Easy now, say nothing. Well, better say nothing. I don't want to distract him.
Is it? It's holding. It's holding.
Is it?
Ah, shit.
Oh no. I guess it's not holding. No. What a pity. I guess we didn't create enough revolutionary plasm.
It's alright, Steban. That was still very close. One of our best performances yet.
You will get there. You will get there at some point.
The lieutenant says nothing, but his expression suggests otherwise.
It's fine, Uli. That's enough parlor games for one night. We should clean up.
Alright, I guess it was a good attempt, but you need to practice more. I mean, they almost got it, so maybe at some point they will actually manage to do it, although I doubt it will have something to do with revolutionary plasm.
Well, I think we're probably finished here, Detective.
Yeah, it looks like it. So, thank you for the interesting meeting, but I have to go.
Wait a minute. If you don't mind, we wanted to get your opinion on something. A few little changes we've been thinking about.
Alright, what kind of changes?
Nothing too major, I think. We were talking potentially about relaxing some parts of our admissions process.
It probably would help if you didn't make people go through a whole interview just to join. Well, I mean, you have to vet them at least a little bit, so I think that's fine. Maybe you should ditch the passphrases and meet in a coffee house. I guess that might attract more people. Have you considered changing up the reading list? No, you should keep it the way things are. Yeah, I mean, that Infra-Materialism book is pretty heavy. And I'm not sure if it's really helping, so maybe you should just change the reading list.
I suppose we have read through most of the Infra-Materialist canon by this point.
You're right. It probably wouldn't kill us to read more conventional historical materialism.
Right.
As long as we maintain the appropriate critical distance.
Of course.
There was another thing. We were also debating putting up some posters around town.
Though some of us maintain that advertising is an unacceptably bourgeois tactic.
Why?
That's what makes it so beautiful. The irony is unbeatable.
I think it's fine to advertise your group.
As a noted art cop, you definitely have an opinion on this.
Do I? As someone who has dabbled in murals himself, I support this plan. As something of an art critic myself, I support the poster plan. Think of it this way, you're appropriating bourgeois methods for revolutionary ends. Sounds like something Cindy could help with. Posters are great. Who doesn't like posters? Yeah, posters are pretty bourgeois. Yeah, you're appropriating bourgeois methods for revolutionary ends.
Oh, I like that.
I thought
We're
you would.
dismantling the structures of capital with our own tools.
It does sound pretty cool when you describe it like that.
Plus, I've got the perfect place in mind.
Really?
Put some more coffee on, Uli. We've got a long night ahead of us. We should probably get Cindy in here too.
Right.
Oh, and gendarme. One last thing.
Yes?
I've been thinking about what you asked before. About women, you know?
Really?
Not that it's any of my business. But it sounds like this question is really tearing you up inside.
Apparently it is.
It is tearing you up. It's like there's a tiny, hateful beast shredding your very soul.
So, good luck with that, I guess.
I thought you would have like an answer for it now, but apparently not. Just good luck. Okay. Well, that was an interesting meeting. Not quite what I expected, but it seems that my task is done. At least it's not in my quest journal anymore. So I guess I will end the episode here because it's very long, and since it is very late, I will return to my shack in the next episode. I will sleep, and we have a few minor things to do first, but once all of that is done, we will finally return to the Feld building and try our luck with that mural again. But for now, let's call it a day. As always, thank you for watching, and see you again next time.